While watching this video, please fill in your preposition notes. You can make note of any questions that you have in the margins or on the back, and I will answer them tomorrow during class. The main thing that you need to know is that at the end of this, you need to understand what a preposition does, how to find one in a sentence, what the prepositional phrase consists of, and what the object of a preposition is. So, at its most basic, you can begin by thinking of a preposition as anything a dog can do to a fence. You can be under it, over it, on it, beside it. I've seen my dogs do all of these. And yes, that is a picture of one of my former dogs. Her name was Samoa, named after the Girl Scout cookies. Here is a rendition found off of Google of a mouse. Couldn't find a cute Rottweiler, unfortunately. But there are many prepositions that don't fit this criteria. To, for, because of, into, in, according to, except, during. So it's not just that prepositions are about place. Prepositions are essentially about spatial, place, and temporal relationships between parts of a sentence. So if I called his name during the performance, that is not about a place per se, it's about a time. So that's why it's still a preposition. So what prepositions are seeking to do are they're connecting a noun to some other word in a sentence. And the noun is part of the prepositional phrase. For example, in the sentence, he went to the store, to is the preposition, and it's connecting store to the rest of the sentence, most specifically to this verb went. A preposition will not occur alone, or it should not, in a proper grammatical sentence like you would have on a quiz or in a actual, English text from class. It will always be part of a prepositional phrase. So the prepositional phrase consists of two things: the preposition that starts it, to in that case, and then it ends when it gets to the noun that's being linked, and that's called the object of the preposition. So it includes all the words in between, and usually those words are adjectives. So I went to the brand new store, and notice I can put many varied adjectives in between there, but they are all still part of the prepositional phrase. And I include the is an adjective. It's describing what store, and it's also the most probably common part of the prepositional phrase outside of the preposition and the object of the preposition. So if I wanted to, I could say I went to the brand new, overflowing, crowded store, and that would still be one prepositional phrase with to as the preposition and store as the object of the preposition. So, using the note sheet that you have, the sentence is the flying monkeys turned against their evil overlord. What is the preposition? Well, if you're not sure, the first thing I would do is look for the verb if you already know that. And in this case, the verb is turned. And so what's doing the verb? The monkeys. So if I've eliminated those, they're out. If it's a verb, it can't be a preposition. If it's the subject of a sentence, it can't be a preposition. All right? So I'm left with the, and I said that the preposition can't be on its own, so that's out. And, you can also just know that the is an adjective. And then I've got against their evil overlord. Well, if I know that it has to end with a noun, I can look over here and see the only noun I've got is overlord. So now I've got to figure out where the preposition starts. Well, evil is an adjective. It's describing something, and prepositions don't really describe. So that's out. There is also an adjective. It's describing, in this case, it's a pronoun acting as an adjective. It's describing which overlord. And then I'm left with against. So you can do a process of elimination if you don't know what that against is a preposition. I don't expect you to memorize the prepositions. I don't think it's really worthwhile, and I don't think it helps you learn them. except for, a test if you're cramming. So our preposition is against. Overlord is the object of the preposition, and against their evil overlord is the prepositional phrase. One area of caution is that to, although a preposition, isn't only a preposition. It depends on how it's used. So any time that it's not used with a noun being followed it's not. And there's really only one specific example of that. For example, in the sentence, she likes to watch movies. Whenever to is followed by a verb, watch in this case, it is no longer a preposition. Instead, it's like a package deal. To watch is now what's known as infinitive, and we'll talk about those further. But the main thing you need to know here is don't get tricked into thinking just because to is a preposition that it's always a preposition. So, if a preposition is followed by a verb, it's not a preposition anymore. And the only one this happens to is to. All right. Here is a list that might be useful for just review purposes and for the activity that you're going to do on the back of this. And this is linked from my Canvas where this video should be seen. And it lists in green prepositions. So pollution is very harmful to the environment. And so we've got to there is our preposition. And just like Greece is popular with tourists, with in this case. And here's an example of a prepositional phrase that only has 2 words in it. No adjective in between there. So the minimum it can be is 2 words. The maximum, there's really no maximum, although, good taste and grammar would probably prevent you from having anything too excessive. I'd say the norm is 3 words. If you looked at all these, it would just depend on what you were trying to say, of course. All right, so now you're going to go to the back and complete the assignment where you are going to circle any prepositions, box any object of prepositions, and underline the entire prepositional phrase. So from the beginning of the circle to the end of the box. All of the things that you're going to be reviewing are real first lines from classic literature. And please bring this in completed tomorrow so that we can go over it, and also bring in any questions that you have that you would like me to elaborate on. Thank you.